Alright, a quick follow-up video to the free stock pick we sent out last night, Sealed Air Corporation, SEE. This was the chart we sent out, nice little kind of symmetrical triangle, pretty well set up for a breakout. With the first catalyst we gave was 1828, a break of Friday's high that might get the breakout going. Now, remember we said everything depends on intraday, alright, and so I want to show you on an intraday basis why this was not a trade even though it hit 1828. We always say we're going to follow up the video with an after-the-fact teaching tool as to kind of how our thinking goes in real time in the chat room as the day unfolds. So let's look at SEE on 5-minute candles. Okay. This is SEE. Now here's the important part to understand. All right. Remember we talked about gaps. Well, it did gap down slightly. Okay. It opened here after closing here. Not a big gap down, but the significant thing is, I'll use a line tool here, is that initially it sold off, okay? So now there's two reasons we didn't take this trade. The first one is because it sold off, and so it had to come from whatever that was. I'm just guessing here, I don't have the prices in front of me. 1802, 1803, something like that is the low it hit early. All the way within a 5-minute span of time, approximately 5 minutes, to 1828, our first catalyst. And I'm not sure if it hit 1833, our second catalyst, or not, but over the course of really probably 5 minutes, this thing had to run, almost 30 cents. I never take anything that's just run 30 cents over a 5-minute period. So that was one strike against it. The second strike was the fact that it did hit one of our trigger prices in the first 15 minutes. Typically, and I say 15 conservatively, usually I'll sit on hands, not do anything for the first 30 minutes. But if I get something that hits a trigger price in the first 15 minutes, absolutely won't take it. And this had 2 strikes against it because it sold off first and just had run too far in the short term. That's probably a good rule of thumb. Never buy anything that's just run 30 cents in 5 minutes. But so that's the reason why we didn't take this one. We only made, I think, 3 or 4 calls all day. So I'll just share them with you real quick. I put some arrows to show you. I called BRLI, normally a stock with an average volume way too low for me to trade, but crazy volume yesterday, so it was worth having on radar, and then called it at 1272 right here. And over the course of about 30 minutes, it went all the way to almost 1320 to 1318. That was a very nice trade. The stop was right down here, but didn't really affect us, right? I mean, right after the trigger, this thing gave a nice move. I never had to worry about the stop. So that was my best trade today. ATPG was just getting killed. It's been killed for a few days. I don't have access to the daily charts right now because I took pictures of these instead. So this was the first long I called with a low of day stop. Let's see if I can get the numbers for you here. It was at 569 right here. And it did go to 582, all right? So anything over a dime, I should have been selling some, and I just kind of put my stop in place and was looking around for other ideas for the chat room. I had it small enough that I went ahead and just let my stop work. But in a proper trade, so this is a mistake I made, you get a dime, 12 cents on a $5 stock, you should sell some, or the very worst, if you don't sell any, thinking maybe you caught the bottom, that's understandable, wanting to have a bigger position for a nice run. At the very worst, you get a 12-cent move and it comes back to your entry, you should kill it. I went ahead and just let my stop work because I took it small enough. And I called a second long right here, kind of a double bottom idea at 565 with a low of day stop. That one never stopped out, but didn't exactly tear it up to the upside either. I think the highest it got was right here, and I don't know what that, almost 6. So, I mean, nothing to brag about, but the second call never did stop out. Again, the BRLI, the only really decent trade today. One thing I forgot, is that Thanksgiving's coming up. This is the week before Thanksgiving. Volume's going to be, as I said in chat today, stupid slow next week. But it was very low today. I mean, I think it was lower than Friday, which was a bank holiday. So volume is really, really low right now. There was no scheduled financial news all day. That makes a Monday even worse. So there's part of the reason why today was so dead. But you can see how a lot of these stocks just moved straight sideways. I called AMRN right here at 743. The stop, I think, was at 735. And look what it did, just straight sideways the rest of the day. So that was nothing to write home about, but didn't cost us any. And the one loser that I called today was Titanium Metals, TIE. A very nice high volume pop here. I believe the thinking in chat was because Boeing got a big order, and I think they supply parts to Boeing, so they got a real nice pop here. And then on this 5-minute stair step pullback to the 8-period moving average, I went ahead and called it as it broke this 5-minute candle's high right here. I didn't put the price. Let me see, 1603, and the stop was at 1594, so 9 cents risk. And you can see it triggered and another 5 minutes stopped out. And really sideways, I think, the rest of the day on that one too. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's the original SEE chart again. So that was it, a very boring day. I forgot all about that it was a low volume, no news Monday coming up. But with Europe, you never know. We could get chaos out of Europe and get some nice setup. So yeah, I say it's like hunting or fishing, which I do neither of. But this kind of market, there's a lot of sitting and waiting and hoping you get a high volume move in something and then a tradable setup off of that. And or a big one of our favorite PFPDs, which stands for potential final push down. Some kind of panic selling, which we're very good at catching intraday bottoms on those. In the meantime, when everything's just chopping sideways and you've got no real news coming out, you can either take the afternoon off or sit there and hope to catch a setup. So a very boring day today, and I should have thought of that before I put out the SEE pick for today. But maybe we'll send out another pick later this week because volume should pick up later this week because there's more news coming out. So I'm not going to babble any further. We will talk to you guys soon. Thanks a lot.